If you're wondering where else you can find the Smark Foundation podcast, you can stream our show on Pandora, Spotify, and nearly anywhere else you normally stream your podcasts from, including our home at rss.com. We're also on YouTube, featuring not only full episodes of our show, but individual segments from each episode for easier content digestion. For any of those outlets, just type Smark Foundation Podcast into the search bar to find us. If you'd like to interact with us directly, we're very active on our new social media home, Blue Sky. You can contact the show at smarkfndnpodcast.bsky.social for general pro wrestling or podcast comments. And if you want to get to know us each a little bit more on a personal level, Aaron's personal account is at aaronsmark.bsky.social, and Adam's is at adamsmarkfndnpodcast.bsky.social. If you'd like to further support our show, you can visit our shop at smarkfoundationpodcast.printful.me to purchase various merchandise with our show's logo on it. Wear your SFP t-shirt or hoodie around town and spread the word about the show that strives to bring fans together around what's great about pro wrestling today, brought to you by a couple of everyday elder millennial wrestling fan dads. Now back to the show.
All right. Now it's time for our Morton spot, which is going to be Smackdown for this week. That is, man, okay. I'm going to get this out right up front. We still got to go back to 2 hours. We have 3-hour program here, and there is only 4 matches on this 3-hour program. This is not a PLE, guys, and PLEs have 5 matches. I don't dig this at all. But we can get into what happened anyway. So SmackDown opens with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and I'm like, what is going on? I guess they're hosting SmackDown, but then we got Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett as our commentators. I don't know what's going on. More Pat McAfee is not good. I hate Pat McAfee. Oh my gosh, he is so bad at this.
He's such a doof.
Yeah, and he's the worst. He's worse than Jerry Lawler, and I don't have a lot of good things to say about Jerry Lawler. So we had Joe Tessitore in the ring. KO wants a interview segment like Cody got, so he's getting one. Owens was just kind of angry about things and, doing his typical spiel about how he's really the world champion and all that. And CM Punk interrupts him. Kind of weird. CM Punk isn't on SmackDown, but here we are. Punk said he didn't come to pick a fight, but he's going to win the Rumble, and whoever, he could come after whoever wins that title. And it could be Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens, starts insulting Punk, and Punk's like, we are really different. Like, yeah, I haven't been to a WrestleMania main event, but I also haven't lost in the WrestleMania main event. And he's like, I also haven't gotten beaten by Logan Paul. And that kind of got a reaction from the crowd. They were like, ooh, like, ugh.
When did that happen? Anyway,
I don't remember.
Remember that. He doesn't have very many matches under his belt. I can't remember. Why can't I remember when he beat Kevin Owens?
I don't know. I don't remember either. Maybe my brain blocked it out because I don't want to think
trauma response.
That he beat Kevin Owens.
No, that makes sense.
So they were just kind of back and forth on the thing. We might get Kevin Owens and CM Punk. That'd be cool. But there was no violence. Kind of weird for a Kevin Owens segment, but there it is.
Oh, the violence will be later.
Yeah.
That's how you can tell that they're building to something.
Yeah. Punk said he showed up because someone said his name. Kind of like a Joe Hendry tip of the hat there, which is cool. Man, we'll talk about Joe Hendry a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
We don't do it often on this show, but we will today. So after that, we had Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes. It's been building for a couple of weeks. They kind of had a fight last week, and so they got a match this week. It was pretty good. It was pretty good, man. Like, it was a good match. But here's the thing. They're like trying to build Carmelo Hayes as like this serious contender, but I don't think I've seen him win a match. And this one was no different.
I mean, I'll just echo what I said last week and leave it at that. You can't advertise a guy as him and then have him lose all the time.
Yeah, well,
it doesn't
him
work.
Him is a losing constantly. Him ain't a winning. Okay, so I mean, I don't know what him is now. That WWE has completely killed my perception of giving yourself that tag. Yeah, a match was good. It was a good match. Carmelo always puts on good matches. He looks good in defeat, but he never wins. He's almost like the WWE's Harley Cameron.
We'll
talk about her more later.
There.
Yeah. I was super happy. Anyway, then we had Chelsea Green versus Michin. They're still going on with this. This is supposed to be Michin's last shot. That's the way they framed it last week, was that this was Michin's last shot at the U.S. Championship. Piper Niven saved Green and caused a DQ. So there was some funny business here. So that's probably not actually going to be her last shot. Yeah, fair enough. Piper Niven is the best part of this feud. By far. Okay, so she is like taking her role as U.S. Champion Chelsea Green's Secret Service agent very seriously.
I love
she even
that.
was wearing a red, white, and blue like 3-piece suit and peacoat.
I didn't even know she was like doing Secret Service. That's amazing.
She's totally
and I bet she's
Service.
pulling off. She's so good. Like
She's
I remember
hilarious.
seeing her. I remember the first time I saw her was in the second Mae Young Classic. I'm like, who is this? Like she looks different. She brings a lot to the table. You can tell that she's so cheeky. Like she's got a big
funny.
Personality.
Like the way Scottish people like are that really sly kind of funny. She's really funny and yeah, she's just really doing it up with this Secret Service thing, and I love it. And when she turns on Chelsea Green, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a really great feud, I think. And I expect her to come out on top because she's obviously a super strong competitor and doesn't need to be treated otherwise.
Yeah.
And then they're featuring her and she's maximizing the hell out of her minutes. And I can't say different. Like she's killing it right now. It's hilarious.
That's
it's
good
funny.
to hear.
It's good to watch. I'm enjoying her. I like Piper Niven better than I like Chelsea Green just because like I can see like how much effort she puts into this. It like, and I mean, yeah, Chelsea Green does too. I'm not discounting her effort or anything like that, but like Piper is playing a secondary role, like, and putting in the effort, like she's, you know, front and center. So
like
when
Ms.
she
Dow?
finally is, yeah, like Ms. Dow, she's definitely, so when, and this isn't the Vince era, so I don't have to worry about that not being rewarded. She is 100% going to get rewarded for that. And she's over. People love it. It's fantastic. Yeah, when she turns face on Chelsea, which Chelsea's kind of a weird heel because everybody kind of loves her because she's hilarious.
Yeah.
But she is a heel still.
People that make you laugh are difficult to root against.
That's true. That's true. But I really like Michin too. So it's like, this is a hard feud, man. Because I like everybody in it, so I'm definitely going to be watching it, you know, and I'm going to be enjoying it because I like everybody in it, but I don't know who to root against. Like, I'm not mad that Chelsea keeps the belt. I'm not mad if Michin wins the belt. Piper's just freaking funny. So, like, I don't know, like, this is a weird place for me to be in my wrestling fandom where I just like everything.
Not a bad problem to have, though.
No, it's not a bad problem to have, though. Okay, so after that we had an 8-man tag match with DIY and Pretty Deadly versus the Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garces. I will repeat it again this week since I said it last week. I am really glad that Pretty Deadly are getting more screen time. Okay. When I first became aware of them, I was like, okay, we've got two guys who are like theater kids and they're super pretty and you know, a little bit feminine, and their whole deal is that they do musicals and they're making a musical about themselves, I guess. And okay, so what we've got here is a couple of chicken shit heels by the wrestling definition, right?
Yeah.
No, we do not. No, we do not. We have two like pretty effeminate dudes who do musicals who will kick the shit out of you. Like they
It's that
remind
Brett
me.
Rest scene, man. That
They
Brett Rest scene is no joke.
This is exactly kind of where I was going with this. They remind me a lot of the Grizzled Young Vets, the Grit Your Teeth guys.
Yeah.
The way they wrestle and as impactful and as hard hitting as they are reminds me of those guys, but they're like personality wise the complete opposite of the Grizzled Young Vets.
The Vets are on AEW this week too, by the way.
Oh man, see, I gotta watch that one. But yeah, these guys are like every time they get in the ring that I'm privy to watching it, I'm impressed more. Somebody give them their musical. Because it's bound to be fun. Because in their segments, they're hilarious. And the best part about their wrestling is that even though they're like super hard hitting, they still play those personalities along with that. So when they do get like slapped across the face or something, they react like a theater kid would react. No offense to theater kids, but we know what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone. It's really hard when I'm like, these guys are prancing around. We know what I'm talking about here, guys. Okay. It's I'm not trying to be mean to anybody. I'm not. So I'm not saying anything weird, but they are very effeminate for being so hard hitting. It's a weird dichotomy, but the best part about that is that they make it work so good. They're so good at it. Like it's believable.
It's the best when a character, a wrestler, knows their character inside and out, because that gives them so much more freedom to try new things. Because you know you can be hesitant to try new things if you don't know a character, because it's like, will this character really do that? And so you wind up like psyching yourself out and undercommitting. But when you know your character, you know exactly how they would deliver this line, you know exactly how they would react in this situation. It's very liberating, actually. So you put in the work and you get the freedom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, it's weird because it's like at first I thought it was kind of like a Festus thing, like it's a really high class Festus thing. Like they're prancy and musical guys, and then the bell rings, and they're monsters. And then the bell rings again, and they're prancy musical guys. But no, they're prancy musical guys who will kick you in the face.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Now, add that to the Garzas, who are a good tag team, and Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, who are arguably two of the greatest tag teams wrestling right now. And this was a fun match. It was just fun. It was like, now, but it also furthered the story. And by that, I mean, we got into a situation where kind of Gargano was laid out. Ciampa was kind of taking everybody on by himself. Pretty Deadly ditched him. Like they were like, we're tired of getting treated by crap by you guys, basically, and just ditched out and took off. So it looks like we've got like a serious, like no alliances, like crazy tag division coming up, because we also have to add in Street Profits to this, who have been attacked backstage again, which by people think it's DIY, but maybe not, but nobody's really like pinned on who it is. You know, I'm sure it's DIY. But like, there's like 6 or 7 tag teams that are all in this group that are seriously vying for the title, like could have a title shot Friday for all I know. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about this during the Royal Rumble segment, because it does take a crazy turn that I didn't see coming. So, and it was smart too. So it like really added to the flavor of it. But yeah, I mean, basic go home show. Motor City Machine Guns are standing tall. Do the go home math. Here we are, you know? So, after that, another Charlotte Flair video package. They really concentrated on her face this time, and she's had a lot of work done since the last time we saw her.
Really? What's different?
Her whole face.
Oh, no.
It's like a whole different face.
Oh, babe. You don't need that.
She got rid of the mole.
Oh, I like the mole.
and change like her whole face. It's not unpleasing or anything like that. It's not unpleasant to look at. It's just that I know what Charlotte Flair looks like in my mind. So when I see her face now, I'm like, does not compute. It's just like, yeah, okay. Like I said, it's not unpleasant. It's just I know what Charlotte Flair looks like in my head, and that's not what she looks like anymore.
Yeah.
So then let's see here. WWE aired footage of Triple H being told he's going into the Hall of Fame at this point. So they are putting Triple H by himself into the Hall of Fame. I have seen mixed reactions to this online.
Yeah.
For the record, he should have been in by himself before he was in with DX.
Yeah, agreed. Unfortunately, the timing of it is it doesn't look good on him. And
No.
you can tell the story that Nick Khan and Stephanie sprung it on him. You can tell people that all you want, but there's always going to be this undercurrent of like,
he's in charge.
He's in charge. He can do whatever he wants. He could veto this if he wanted to. He's in charge of creative, which means he's in charge of what gets put on the Hall of Fame show. So if he doesn't want to be on it, ain't nobody gonna convince me that he could just not be on it if he wanted to. This goes back to the thing that he did when they first formally introduced the Paul Levesque era, and he famously said, "No, I don't want to be the focus. I don't want to be on TV. I don't want." And then he's on TV all the freaking time. You can't fool me, Paul.
He hasn't been on TV much. The last time we saw Triple H was standing in the middle of the ring at the beginning of Netflix Raw #1, and that's the last time I saw Triple H on TV until the Royal Rumble. So
yep, and then he probably took in the crowd at the beginning of the show, didn't he? He was like, "Oh,
no. We only saw him when the camera went backstage."
All right, well, I take that back then.
So,
but
we saw Stephanie.
You cannot.
Stephanie welcomed us to the Royal Rumble.
That guy's ego is going to allow him to stay off of TV for too long.
But let's also recognize, and the reason why I don't like. Okay, I get the mixed reactions. I understand people like, okay, you're patting yourself on the back a little bit, but
Horowitz style, baby.
But Triple H deserves to be in the Hall of Fame by himself as a standalone entity, I have no problem with it. Because of that, I have now. If he didn't deserve to be in there, I would be screaming to the heavens with the rest of you. But this is where I'm at, where I'm like, he does deserve to be in there. So let's just get that over with now.
Even if you were one of the people who thinks that Triple H is overrated, the fact of the matter is, some of the people who are in the Hall of Fame, Triple H is certainly more deserving than, due respect or whatever, like Coco Beware, or literally any of the celebrities that are in there.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm not saying there's no place for celebrities who contribute to, WrestleMania moments or whatever. You can have those, but the wrestlers deserve it more. Okay, they always have, they always will, and Triple H is more. Sorry, he's more important than Drew Carey in the wrestling context. Okay, he just is.
Yeah.
So, I think that Triple H is, as you can tell, I think he's got that ginormous nose far up his own crack. But, this, like you said, this isn't something that by the parameters of how they put people in this fictional Hall of Fame, he's certainly deserving by those parameters. So is the timing unfortunate? Yeah, it's not. But like, until he retires fully and is not, an entity that people see on TV anymore or hear about as being part of creative or the business structure of the WWE anymore, are you really going to wait that long? Because that's how long it's going to take for people to say, oh, well, he's just using the opportunity to pat himself on the back and get on TV again. Because that's unfortunately the position that he's in now. So, do I think that he is going to enjoy the spotlight? Yeah. Do I also think that he deserves it? Yeah. Do I also think that the story about Nick Khan and Steph surprising with his truth? Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. But that doesn't mean I don't think that he would get around to it on his own eventually.
Oh, he for sure would have. It would be
Yeah.
next year if it wasn't this one, I bet.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, I'll be real, but like, yeah, but
We're still waiting on Batista. It's like year 3 or 4 now that he's supposed to have gone in, but the pandemic screwed everything up. So
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So anyway, after that, we're supposed to have a women's match between Naomi and Liv Morgan, and here's where the 3 hour problem strikes again, because instead of having this match immediately after they say we're having that next, they bring out Tyler Halliburton.
who?
Now that's what I said. I had to go research. I don't know who the hell this guy is. Okay, apparently he's a basketball player for the Indiana Pacers. Okay. Why
Sorry,
he
guys,
got
I'm not cool and I don't follow NBA.
Yeah, I don't follow the NBA either, and I don't know why this guy got an interview with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and why they kept showing him on TV. But I understand that they probably needed to fill some space because they had 4 matches on a 3 hour show, and so we got something like that.
And they're, greedy for any kind of major or minor celebrity attention. Like they'll, I get it.
But that wasn't even the low point, because the low point was how they still only gave Naomi versus Liv Morgan like 10 minutes on a show with only 4 matches. Like, why? Like, so, and they were cooking. At
least another 5. At least.
They were cooking hard. Naomi and Liv, like, they got a great in-ring chemistry. They were really going at it, man. But there had to be, a little bit of interference, but Naomi still picks up the win. Kind of 50-50 booking on this one, but the match itself was really good. If they'd have been given like 20 more, 30 more minutes on a 3 hour show, come on, we got time, guys. If they would have given 10, 15, 20 more minutes, Dave Meltzer would have gave this freaking match a star rating. Okay, like, it was good. It was really good. We should have more of this, but instead we had a 10 or 15 minute interview with Tyler Halliburton and then a 10-minute women's match. I don't like that. I don't like that part at all. But I like more say it every week.
Wrestling show.
Yeah. But speaking of wrestling, we kind of went there from that low point with, the women not getting enough time, even though they had a fantastic match, to probably the best match of the night, The Miz and Andrade.
Wait. The Miz had the best match of the night.
They hit each other. They were working like Japanese strong style stiff. They hit each other so hard. Yes.
Famously soft hitter, safe worker, The Miz.
They were crushing it, dude. Miz absolutely came up and met Andrade at his level.
He probably felt he needed to.
I guess
because Andrade's not going to change his style for anybody.
Pretty sure Andrade took one of his teeth out.
Oh, wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't. But yeah, I guess he's trying to prove
AJ knocked one of his what do you call them, veneers out several years ago with the Phenomenal Forearm.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Andrade won, which I would think would be the case. But they really had a banger of a match, man, and it all looked so smooth. Like, Miz is obviously in his years as a veteran.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing in the ring and he's safe, but it looked like he wrestled this match like he had something to prove. Like, he was trying to tell him, like, I'm on SmackDown now and I'm going to be a good asset to this show. And he went up and met Andrade at Andrade's highest level. Like, they really had a match, man.
That's great. I mean, Miz is certainly capable of having, like, I still remember, his match with Dolph Ziggler, title for a career several years ago at SummerSlam. And I'm like, oh, this is great. It should have elevated both of them, and it didn't. But yeah, Miz is capable of a lot, and he's always had that workhorse attitude because he's always had it, since he was a child apparently. But he's always been a hard worker and everything. But given like the garbage hazing that he had to go through, from JBL and others when he was first starting, it doesn't really surprise me on a certain level that he would be like rising to meet a challenge like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
He really did too, man.
he kind of gets off on being rising above people's expectations of him.
Yeah. I man, like I used to really hate the Miz, and it kind of took me a while to realize that like I hate him because I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
And now, like, I see him go into a program. Like, I know there's probably gonna be some great mic work.
Yeah.
And probably some really proficient wrestling, if not good wrestling. Because he's a good hand. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised that he was able to meet this challenge, but I was surprised with the way that he's been working lately that he did, like, he didn't slow it down and tell, like, this young kid, you got to work with me. He was like, man, you're fantastic, and I'm going to work with you, and we're going to put on a fucking show and, like, tear the house down, which is exactly what they did. And the unfortunate part about them tearing the house down was that the main event was after that.
Oh, well,
and it was LA Knight and Damian Priest versus Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. Now, this had gotten set up earlier in the show. LA Knight swung a chair at Jacob Fatu and he punched it. Like, they were really setting Jacob Fatu up to be like a Superman type guy. Like, he is, but he can work a mic, man. The guy really can work a mic. So give him whatever he wants. If I met him in a dark alley, I certainly would. So, because he's frightening, legitimately frightening looking, and the way he talks, it's like, man, this dude might like legitimately just beat this guy up. Like he might just really do it. So they had like some kind of in-ring encounter where he swung a chair, Jacob Fatu punched it. It turned into this tag match. And I mean, it was kind of just a real basic back and forth tag match. Damian Priest hit the South of Heaven on Tama Tonga for the pin. So Fatu didn't take the pin. He kind of, he doesn't get hurt by this loss. And then Damian Priest coming into SmackDown now from Raw looks strong still. And of course, LA Knight gets a nice rub out of it, even though he doesn't really need one. He's super over with the fans. I don't know what they're doing with him.
Like, I don't think they know what they're doing with him.
It doesn't seem like it.
He dropped the belt to Shinsuke, who they're not doing anything with.
Nothing.
So,
at least it's like they dropped the belt to Shinsuke, and then they just kept having LA Knight on TV every week anyway.
This is what they do. Every time they do that, give Shinsuke a belt, they do nothing with it. Nothing. He's there. He holds it for several months. Doesn't do any. They don't give him anybody to really work a compelling feud with. They don't give him any moments. They don't give him any opportunities. And then he drops it to somebody who probably is going to have a better reign than he did by default, simply because they're more invested in somebody they know that can deliver a promo in English.
Yeah.
That's kind of all it is.
Pretty much. Though I guess that kind of remains to be seen with Penta. We'll see what they do with him. Not really.
Penta's English is better than Shinsuke's.
It is. And he's done some stuff in English, but he also mixes his Spanish in there too. So we'll see how the WWE plays him. But the crowd's really getting into the Cero Miedo thing. So,
well, I mean, the dude breathes aura. Like, the dude, he's a dude.
Yeah. And WWE heavily acknowledges his Lucha Underground history, and the fans seem to also.
Well, that plays into the Netflix thing, I bet, because it was a Netflix series. They have it on Netflix. You can go check that out too. Like,
and it's also going to play into the Royal Rumble.
Brand synergy.
Yeah, it's going to play into the Royal Rumble too, and we'll talk about that because it was very, very cool. But that's pretty much SmackDown for the week. Look, everything that was done here could have been done in 2 hours, especially all the wrestling. And if we kept all the wrestling and then got rid of some of the external parts, I would have been fine with that too. We don't need to interview basketball players on SmackDown. Okay, guys? I don't care how big of a fan they are. I don't. If you're going to interview somebody on a wrestling show, let it be a wrestler. Please. Like, give somebody on your roster minutes that deserve to go to them and not to a professional basketball player who's getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball and not be on wrestling. We'll talk more about this exact topic during the Royal Rumble review, but like, pay more attention to your roster. Quit this mixing celebrities into everything. We don't need it. We don't need it. These guys are over. Jey Uso is over without Quavo. Okay. SmackDown as a show is over without Tyler Halliburton, whoever that is. You know, we don't need these things. We don't need them. We need a wrestling show. Like, I would like more wrestling in WWE. Not saying that the wrestling that they have is bad. I just believe that on the weekly shows, not enough. Their PLEs are completely wrestling centric, but their weekly shows are a little bit more wrestling, guys. Just a little bit more. I understand you're the kind of the promo company, but just a little bit more. Other than that, everything was good. You know, I really enjoyed SmackDown this week. I really enjoyed Raw this week. So WWE was kind of kicking all the way into Royal Rumble. So, with that said, it's time to get into our hope spot.